Afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to YTCSC, YouTube's Celtic Supporters Club. I am your host, Mark Campbell, and I will be running through a quick video with you today. The video is just comments that I've read from former Celtic director Willie Haughey that I just want to go into in a wee bit more detail. Before we do that, if you have not already subscribed, please do so. We are motoring along, we're doing super well. Anyone who wants to join, superb. Thanks to everyone who has recently joined. And also, this is the last time I'm plugging this one, giving away a free t-shirt, little era t-shirt. Absolutely free. If you want to enter the competition, all you need to do is comment your full name. Once you've done that, I'll give you a wee love heart. You will know then that you are in the competition, and I'll probably draw that this weekend and get that posted off to whoever wins. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, like I said, I want to talk about the recent comments from former Celtic director Willie Haughey. He's told supporters to back off from protesting against the current Celtic board. Now, I've read his words carefully, and I have to be honest, I don't agree. In fact, I think the message actually risks downplaying the seriousness of what's actually happening at Celtic right now. Why fans are perfectly justified and continue to hold the board accountable, because we are absolutely justified in holding this board accountable for what we have seen over the last, 10 years, maybe. Okay, so let's be clear about the situation. Celtic fans have been protesting because the club crashed out of the Champions League to a team who are ranked 311th in Europe. Absolutely not acceptable. Not acceptable to a club with our history and the size of Celtic. There was clear underinvestment in the squad during the summer transfer window. We know that. We done nothing until super late. Seem to have brought a right good player in Tenecti, and Balikwisha looks like a decent player who's maybe not hit the ground running yet, but he will get up to speed. But then we were out round fishing in the empty or the free market bucket with our hands knee deep in what can we get, what can we pull out here. And we did okay, and we brought in the actual in, right, but that's not how we want to be doing our business at all. So there's widespread frustration with Dermot Desmond, Peter Lawwell and Michael Nicholson, and those are the people currently leading our club. The guys at the top, the ones who make things happen or are supposed to make things happen. We know that we staged a 12-minute delay entry protest at the Kilmarnock game. That wasn't done out of malice. It was a visible way to show the board that the fans are serious about change. And we've done that really, really well. Great news is about 75% of the fans who went to that game took part in it. So it shows that there is a lot of people who want change. Also want to call out that no one who went into the match and watched the match from the start was called out by anyone, and that's really, really important. Supporters should have their choice. Do you want to do this or do you not? If you don't get in and watch the game, absolutely fine. But the vast majority of fans wanted to do it, and they did it, which is excellent. So what was Willie's argument? So he was part of the 1994 turnaround with Fergus McCann, and had a big impact back then, so thank you very much for that, and we appreciate that. But he has told the fans that they should back off, and that was his words, to back off. I'm not making words up here. He said Brendan Rodgers sounded positive in recent press conferences, and that there's a bit of healing happening. Don't see where the healing is at all. He also said that Celtic fans have been spoilt by the success in the last 15 years. Domestically, yes, we have, 100%. We're not going to deny that, and no Celtic fan is denying that. We're talking about ambition, a club with ambition, and a club who want to grow in Europe. He's asking us to put things into perspective, essentially saying, yes, we're out the Champions League, but look at all the trophies we've won. Remember the tough times. I remember the tough times. I'm 48, I'm nearly 49. I remember the Rangers 9 in a row, and I grew up with Rangers being the top team constantly. As a wee boy, Celtic were always second best, and it was horrible. I remember all of that stuff, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about us being top of the Scottish League. We're talking about the club growing exponentially in Europe and becoming bigger than what they are, because they've got the potential to do that. So why do I disagree? Well, firstly, healing doesn't happen when the issues haven't been addressed. They've not been. It requires honesty, it requires accountability and real change. The board haven't actually acknowledged the depth of the frustration amongst the support. They've actually just brushed it aside, and in my opinion, they're ignoring us, basically. Plain and simple, ignoring us. Secondly, success in the past, it doesn't excuse failures now, in the current here and now and present. Yes, Celtic have dominated domestically, we know that, and we are thankful for that, and we are thankful to the board for our domestic success, because we have been brilliant over the last God knows how many years in Scotland, the last decade at the very least. But football isn't about living off your past glories. We won the European Cup in 1967. Where are we now? We're scrambling about trying to get into the Champions League. Anytime we come up against a qualifier, we get put out. That just shows you where we are. We've not made the Champions League unless we have been automatically put into the group stage for how long? So fans have a right to demand ambition. They've got an absolute right. They pay their money. They buy the merchandise. They do everything they need to do. Especially when our club is in such a strong financial position. We have got £100 million potentially in the bank. Champions League money is now at a record high. We should be pushing to get into that competition every single time. And season ticket sales, well, you can't get a season ticket for love nor money. You've got 18,000 people on the waiting list. That just shows. So thirdly, the phrase spoiled. It's actually a wee bit insulting, right? And I don't want to get on it, Willie here, right? But calling the fans spoiled, or spoiled over the last how long, it's insulting. Supporters aren't spoiled for expecting a team like Celtic to be competing properly in Europe in the top table. We are massive. We are worldwide. Look at the size of the club. Yes, we're in a piddly league, but look at the size of Celtic. We're not asking for miracles here. We're asking for investment that matches the size of Celtic, and respect for the loyal fans. It's not that hard. You know, yes, we've got loads of money in the bank. Fans are fed up of that now. I think you'll see people being a wee bit more pissed off the fact that we're going to be like, we've got £100 million in the bank. How does that help Celtic? How does that help the team? Anyway, why shouldn't we back off? Because the board, they've not listened. In my opinion, they've not listened. In fact, it's not my opinion, it's fact. They've not listened, they've not come out and spoke, they've not responded to anything that has been out there. The open letter with tens of thousands of signatures, it's not been addressed. Tells you everything you need to know. The silence is deafening at this minute in time. I hate to use cliches, but it is deafening. We know pressure works, right? In 1994, it was fan pressure that forced the change. Without the fans, the pressure, and there's no Fergus McCann moment, there's no modern Celtic, there's no new stadium, we could have went out of business. We were a kick in the pants from being a modern day Rangers and not being Celtic. Celtic gone. That didn't happen. That didn't happen because fans got together and done what they had to do. This isn't about turning on the team either, right? This is really, really, really important. It's not about turning on the team, which is why I personally will not back any not going to the matches. I'm not going to back that. I'm not backing a boycott of games, and I don't think Celtic fans are looking to do that. And I think that's why we've done the 12th minute. I like that. We are still supporting the team, but we're showing the board, no, this is enough's enough. The protests have been carefully staged, in my opinion. The delayed entry, that avoids harming the players and the pitch. That's about targeting the leadership and undermining, and not undermining Brendan Rodgers, or the squad. Because Celtic should be ambitious. Why should we not be ambitious? Look at the sizes, look at our history. If the board's allowed to coast in domestic dominance and ignoring the European standards, the club stagnates, and that is what's happened at this moment in time, unfortunately. There's been a lot of chat about, do Celtic need a strong Rangers? They don't need a strong Rangers in many ways, but for me, Celtic need a strong Rangers to get this board in order, because as soon as Rangers get their act together, we will start doing what we need to do. Celtic will start spending money, they'll start bringing the right players in. At this minute in time, the board coast because they can coast in Scotland, and that seems to be their only focus right now. Europe's not a big thing for Celtic, and that's wrong. History shows when you stand still in football, you actually go backwards, and Brendan Rodgers has said it so many times. So a word on Dermot Desmond then. Haughey specifically defends Dermot, saying his involvement has put Celtic where we are today. He's correct. He's absolutely correct. Dermot deserves credit for stabilising the club in the 90s and back in Martin O'Neill's area. That was the most memorable time for me for Celtic. Martin O'Neill team, Larsson, Sutton, Hartson, Petrov. What a team we had. That run to the Europa League final was phenomenal, and it will stay in my memory forever. I remember it vividly. But that's gone. Those days are gone. Since then, his influence has been patchy at best. We still lack a modern structure. Celtic Park it's not crumbling, right? But it's no far from it. We need something done. The recruitment strategy has been super poor. It's been the worst. It's getting worse and worse, actually, now that we think about it. It's getting worse and worse. And we need some ambition in Europe. We want to be challenging in the Champions League. We want to be playing in the Champions League. We want to be getting out of that Champions League and playing clubs like Bayern Munich and see if we can actually get past them. We'll potentially never win the Champions League again, right? Potentially, unless we something drastic changes. But we want to be seen as a team competing. We want to be in there with our heads held high, and that's not what we're doing at this minute. So to say back off because Dermot's involved, it actually ignores the reality of the situation for me. It lets the leadership away with it, and that's not what Celtic are looking to do. So for me, healing isn't silence. It isn't fans pretending everything's okay because of what happened 15 years ago. Healing would be dialogue, honesty and transparency with the board, and for them to admit that something has gone wrong and that they can actually step up, set a clear vision for the future and make things happen. Rangers fans have met with their board already. The board sat down with the Rangers fans already. Our board haven't acknowledged any of this apart from an AI generated letter that made things 100 times worse. So until then, for me, the fans have every right, and I'd argue a responsibility actually to keep the pressure on. So while I respect Willie Haughey and his history with Celtic, I can't argue that he's right here. So I don't agree with him. Fans shouldn't back off. They are the heartbeat of Celtic, and history shows when supporters stay silent, the wrong people make the wrong decisions. When they don't stay silent and we make protests and hold people accountable, accountability, ambition and positivity can come from it. So we've always said football without fans is nothing, and that's exactly what this movement is, and it's why it matters. So if you haven't subscribed, guys, please get subscribed on there. Let's get a few of your comments in. What do you think about the comments that he's made? What do you think about where Celtic are taking this movement? Are we right? Are the fans wrong? What's your point of view on it? Everyone's got their own saying, everyone's got their own opinion, and that's fine. Thanks for watching. Happy if you disagree, just get the comments in there, and we will see you on the next one. Hail, hail.